The relationship between Hughie and A-Train is one of the pivotal moments in the boys' comics. Although the two characters only met on a handful of occasions, their initial encounter is what kicked off the entire story. Throughout the comic, Hughie, under Butcher's influence, grew more assertive and desensitized to the violence he constantly witnessed on missions with the boys. These changes culminated in a final confrontation, forcing Hughie to make a difficult decision. In today's video, we'll explore the death of A-Train and the effects it had on Hughie. Hughie and A-Train first met in Glasgow, Scotland. Hughie was enjoying a peaceful date with his girlfriend Robin when a massive supervillain slammed into her, killing her on the spot. A-Train arrived at the scene and ordered Hughie to step aside. It turned out that A-Train had been pursuing the villain across the Atlantic Ocean, but due to his incompetence and disregard for collateral damage, the devastating accident occurred. To say that Hughie was upset would be an understatement. This tragic event set Hughie on a dark and strange path. After the incident, Vought agents approached Hughie, urging him to sign documents to cover up the accident. Meanwhile, A-Train returned to his base, showing no remorse or concern for what had happened. Later, it became clear that such accidents were extremely common and typically covered up by Vought or the superheroes themselves. But Vought wasn't the only party interested in the accident. Billy Butcher, seeking to reform the boys and add new recruits, noticed Hughie's case. He traveled to the UK to recruit Hughie, who eventually agreed to join the boys after some hesitation. Hughie and Butcher relocated to New York to continue their operations. During this time, Butcher constantly pushed Hughie to be more assertive and cold-blooded on missions. Butcher even injected Hughie with Compound V without his consent and made excuses when Hughie accidentally killed a superhero. This dynamic created tension between the two, as Hughie didn't want to commit murder, a conflict that would become crucial during his confrontation with A-Train. Meanwhile, A-Train continued his role as a superhero, but as a weaker and younger member of the Seven, he was often kept in the dark about important decisions. This included critical events, such as Homelander's attempt to overthrow the government. When Homelander's plan was put in motion, A-Train and the Deep were uninvolved in these schemes. Butcher sensed an opportunity and made a drastic decision. He kidnapped A-Train off-panel and brought him to a rooftop, then called Hughie. Initially, Hughie thought Butcher had captured A-Train to interrogate him, but it became clear that A-Train was brought there solely to be killed. Butcher continued pushing Hughie further into violence, believing he needed to be tougher and more assertive. Sensing Hughie's hesitance, Butcher played a tape of A-Train discussing the accident that killed Hughie's girlfriend with Homelander and the rest of the Seven. In the recording, A-Train showed no remorse or regret, only concern for his reputation. Homelander dismissed the incident as common for superheroes and advised A-Train not to worry about such unimportant accidents. Listening to this fueled Hughie's anger, and he lashed out at A-Train, removing the cloth covering his mouth to allow him to speak. Hughie tried to remind A-Train of the accident, mentioning his girlfriend's name and how much he loved her. But A-Train seemed uninterested, begging for his life with an insincere apology. Despite his anger, Hughie was still unable to kill A-Train. Butcher continued playing the recording, ignoring Hughie's pleas to stop. The recording then revealed the Seven discussing Starlight, Hughie's new girlfriend, in an incredibly disrespectful manner, and even suggesting assaulting her. This was the final straw for Hughie. In a fit of rage, he charged at A-Train and delivered a powerful kick, killing him on the spot. It's worth mentioning that in the comics, the boys have taken modified samples of Compound V that greatly enhance their strength and durability, allowing them to kill superheroes. Despite killing one of his greatest enemies, Hughie wasn't satisfied. He realized he had allowed himself to be manipulated into committing an act he saw as immoral. Later, Butcher explained that he pushed Hughie to kill A-Train to toughen him up, claiming he didn't want Hughie to get hurt in an incredibly dangerous world. However, whether Butcher was genuine in his explanation remains unclear.